Hello, and welcome to I have literally no clue what on earth I just read. Not actually, but I will be reviewing these two lovelies. I don't know. Basically, I didn't like them. But before I get started, first off, there are important links down below if you could please check those out to help Black Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, and helping Indigenous peoples. Secondly, my Readerly and my Goodreads are linked down below. Thirdly, there's going to be spoilers. A lot. Because the whole plot twist at the very end of this first book is what causes all of my problems with this book. So, if you don't want spoilers, basically all you need to know is I did not quite like the series, and come back later. So first off, getting into it, this is the Betrothed series, I guess, written by Kiera. If you may know her from the Selection series. Now, I enjoy her writing. I think she writes romance well. But however, sometimes her plot is completely all over the place, and I'm never quite sure what she's doing. I think that, for example, The Selection is an interesting series, and it was very enjoyable to read as a 7th grader, but I think my personal growth has led me to be more critical of books I read. That's just me. So I'm not hating on you if you enjoy these series and you genuinely love them. I think that's great. This is just my personal opinion. So, with these two, there was a lot of problems with the writing. So, spoilers, starting right now. So, if you don't know, Hollis she goes and she lives at the castle and she tries to catch the king's eyes. King's name is King Jameson. And then, there's sort of a thing, but then she happens to fall in love with the foreign commoner. And his name is Silas, and they fall in love together, and then she runs away with him, and they get married. And then at the end of their marriage, what do? Silas gets killed. So does, half the characters. Here's the thing. I have a big problem with that in book 1. Because you build Silas up, and then all of a sudden he's just killed. And it feels more like it's for character motivation than, an actual part of the story. And, I don't know. And then there's also, everybody's dead. And it was like, wait, everybody's dead? And so then Hollis and her mother-in-law and her sister-in-law escape. And they meet up eventually with other family in this book. And then there is the very handsome, what's his bucket? Eaton. I think that's how you pronounce it. The very handsome cousin of Silas, who Hollis falls in love with. But see, here's the thing. Did they even really have a mourning period for Silas and the rest of the family? Because as I was reading this, it felt like it was a couple of weeks, maybe, that they were like, oh my gosh, he's dead, oh no. And then I feel like it was completely, the two books to me felt completely separated, like worlds apart. There was the Hollis who lost her husband, and then there was the Hollis who just so happened to escape this tragic event, and then she falls into the arms of this handsome man named Eaton, who they bicker and they argue, but then they fall in love, and then somehow at the end they both become monarchs of their respective kingdoms, and they're like, oh, well, maybe if we get married. It was an utter mess. It was being pulled in so many different directions, and I felt like there were so many different tropes that Kiera was trying to use that it left me completely lost. Because there was this whole thing rivals to lovers, which I thought was really cute, but then there was also the, oh my gosh, all of a sudden now they're in control of their own kingdoms. The ending was very rushed with that, because the plot where Eaton gets control of, is it the Isolts? The Zoltan Kingdom? Yeah, and then Hollis gets control of the Corone Kingdom just because Jameson falls on his sword and secretly, like, married her to him without her consent. Like, everything just lined up just a little too perfectly. And I didn't really feel like there was much of a conflict or an actual, like, yeah, like a conflict for the characters to overcome, to grow and stuff. Like, I feel like they were just like, oh my gosh, no, our family's dead. What are we gonna do? And they're like, planning, planning, planning. And then the plan goes perfectly without any hitches. And it's great, but then, oh no, Hollis is pulled away because she's in fact married to King Jameson, but then when she confronts him with Eaton by her side, he pulls out his sword and falls on it. Like, I don't know, it was a complete mess. Now, here's the thing. I think Kiera Cass, like I said before, is very good at writing romance. And I think that Hollis and Eaton had these very strong moments together where I could really see their chemistry and romance come together. Whereas with Silas, in the first book, I didn't see much of that, or I don't remember reading much of it. So I mean, there was that. And then as far as the plot itself, like I said, it's very all over the place, and I feel like it could have been done so much better. I think she needed to plan everything out more. But, yeah. Anyways, I know that was not very coherent or cohesive or, like, made any sense, but I just feel a lot better now that I got all of that out. So, if you have your thoughts or, like, different things you remember of not liking from these series, comment them down below and leave a like. And I will see you all later. So, have a good rest of your week.